Hello everybody, happy August. Welcome back to my channel. It's yaniflower Tarot. And yeah, so August is on Saturday the 1st. And we also have a full moon on the 3rd, which I'll be dropping a video for that as well. And yeah, we're gonna get into the reading. I do want to say that for August, we want to just I want to remind you to make sure you plan out your month every month. Write some goals down, maybe like a top 3, top 5, top 5, top 5, top 5. Yeah, write down your goals. If you don't have a planner, you should get one, just so you're able to plan out your ideas and your goals and keep track of them. Create some daily habits that will allow you to reach your end goal, and so that your month can be successful and you can look back and feel proud of what you accomplished over the course of the month. But yeah, we're gonna get into the reading, pull out some cards so we can see what the energy is looking like. And always remember that this is a very general reading, so I'm setting the intention that it does apply to the majority of the people that watch it, but if not, if it don't apply, let it fly. How about that? Also, with energy readings, nothing is set in stone. We have free will. We have the last say of how we want our lives to go. So if I pull a card and you don't like the card, or if the card doesn't resonate with you, or it's something that, not even that, if I pull the card and it's something that you would not like to manifest into your life, then set that intention and move accordingly so that that does not happen. Okay? So y'all be 5 months locked in August. I love my baby so much. Yeah, so every time, I love that I got my hair locked on the 1st, because now every time I drop a new video, I'll be like counting up how many months it's been since I've been locked. Okay, I'm doing too much. What's the main theme for August for the collective that will be watching this video? What's the main theme for August? Ace of Cups. Okay. What's the past influences that are affecting our month? Ace of Wands. Actually, I think I'm going to place them on the floor like I did last time. Possibilities for this month and things that we should be open to as a collective. King of Swords. Things that we should be aware of or potential roadblocks. Things that might get in the way of us accomplishing things that we want. Okay, 10 of Cups. It's crazy because like this is not a card that you would think would be a roadblock, but I think it's saying like delusion is what might get in the way of things. And I'll get into that later. Ways that we can practice self-care in August. Queen of Cups. The 4 of Cups came out with it, so. I think people are gonna like put things in front of your face that they want to trigger you, and it's saying that you shouldn't allow that to get the best of you. I'll elaborate as we get further. This month, you should make time for, literally, make time for whatever this card is. Let's see. In August, we should make time for August. Four of Wands. A key goal for August should be Nine of Cups. It's crazy because the Ten of Cups was a roadblock, but this should be a goal, which is right underneath it, the Nine of Cups. So have a clear idea of what your end goal is and make sure that that's what you're actually working towards and not some like other, I don't know, figment of your imagination. Sorry if what I'm saying isn't making sense yet, but when I go over all the cards as a whole, I'll try to piece it together some more. Actions that you should take this month, in August should be actions that we should take in August. Nine of Wands. I always look at this as a boundary card, so placing boundaries. Okay, last card. Advice and encouragement for August should be, advice and encouragement for August. What do we have to hear, source? Advice and encouragement. Page of Wands. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so the first card that came out was the Ace of Cups. And the question that I asked for this card what is the main theme for the whole month of August? So the Ace of Cups is telling us that for August, our theme for the month is, and the way we should approach the whole month, is to approach it with an open heart. I feel like a lot of us have a lot of boundaries. No, not even boundaries, a wall. And I just read something recently. I just read something recently that said walls and boundaries are two totally different things. We do need to make a point to establish clear boundaries, and this card, the Nine of Wands, came out towards the end of the reading. So boundaries is something that we really need to focus on. And right as I was saying that, it was 111 on this on the video. But yeah, so we do need to establish boundaries. But the walls that we have put up around our heart, specifically around our heart, because the Ace of Cups just came out, we don't need those. They're a coping mechanism for the abuse that we've dealt with, a coping mechanism for the hurt and the pain, coping mechanism for the betrayal that we've dealt with. But there's no way that you can experience anything other than that if you have a wall up, you know? Also, for August, we should learn to develop your emotional intelligence. Become more aware of what your emotions mean, the root of them. I feel like a lot of us, because, you know, we're human. We experience emotions, and a lot of them in one day. But a lot of the time we don't even know what they mean or why they're happening. But because we don't have control over them, or because we never have taken the time to get to understand why they're happening, we just act on them instantly without thinking, without analyzing them, without understanding them. So if, for instance, if you get into a situation and you get mad from the situation, it causes you to get mad. You automatically, well, not you, but let's say that this person who has experienced this situation, they automatically decide they're going to fight about it, you feel me? And it's like, okay, wait, you didn't even ask any questions about the situation. You don't really know why the situation happened. You don't know if you have a clear understanding of the situation. You don't know if the way you reacted was because of the situation or because of a past situation that you had that this situation reminded you of, but it's totally not that anything like that situation at all. Do you understand? I hope that wasn't confusing. But yeah, so gain some emotional intelligence because it will help you in the long run. And the faster you do it, the less problems you'll have down the line. Because I feel like a lack of emotional intelligence, it causes a lot of static in relationships. And yeah, obviously it would help to lessen that. And one last thing I would suggest to help develop this theme as properly as you can, to create habits and implement habits in your daily routine that fill your cup. And because at the end of the day, you want your cup to overflow. I feel like a lot of us get into relationships, or even just take on responsibilities or before our cup is in a state where it's overflowing. And a lot of people say fill your cup, but I personally say that you need to have your cup overflowing, because you can't operate as your best self until your cup is full. So in order to help other people, your cup needs to be overflowing so that they can get this excess that's spilling over. If you have a fill cup and then you go to help somebody, they're taking stuff out of your cup, and therefore your cup is no longer full. So you can only give from your excess. If you have a surplus of, energy, a surplus of love, that's when you can give love. But until your cup, take that with a grain of salt, because I'm also of the belief that you giving love, pure love, will help you also to refill your cup. So take that with a grain of salt, but you know what I mean by saying that. Don't wait until your cup is overflowing before you try to help somebody or heal somebody or whatever the hell, Yeah, but the point of that whole rant was to find out what helps you to fill your cup and make sure in your daily routine you're at least incorporating one or two of those things. For the past influences for the past influences that are affecting your month for the month of August was the Ace of Wands, another ace. And it's seeming like over the past couple of months or like weeks, or it's going to be different for everybody, but for the past couple of weeks / months, we've had a lot of new ideas, a lot of new inspiration, and we've created a lot of potential for our lives. Meaning, let's say you just had a new idea for a business. Now you have the potential for a business. You don't have the business set, you just have the potential of it. And because this card came out in the position that it did, I think it's telling us to sustain that. Don't get excited with the potential of something and run with it. And that can go with partners, business plans, goals for your life, whatever it is. Don't just take potential and run with it. Potential is a figment of your imagination. And this card came out as a roadblock that would negatively affect you. So, and I already said that the reason why this came out is because of delusion. So, to tie those two cards together, and I'm going to do it again once I get to that point, don't let delusion or potential cause you to think your work is done, or don't let it cloud your reality and have you thinking that your work is done. Because this is just telling you that over the past few months you've started something, but now you have to put in the work so that you can actually attain something and be proud of it and get to the point where you can be content with your accomplishments. Because over the past few months you've had potential. You had potential, you had new beginnings, but in order to manifest it, you have to put in work. Don't think you're going to just go from here to here overnight. Not even overnight, but without putting in work. Yeah, but honestly, this is a pretty good card to be in the position that it did. That means that over the past few months, you've been inspired, you've been creating, you've started creating, but just make sure that you're sustaining the ideas, you're sustaining the inspiration, you're sustaining the creativity, so that in the end, you'll be able to reap the benefits of all of that. The next question was possibilities for the month and things that you should be open to. And the King of Swords came out. So I think I'm gonna, I would say you should be open to being more self-disciplined. A little bit more strict with yourself in a sense of abiding by the rules, and not even abiding by the rules, but not abiding by like societal rules and societal standards, but create rules for yourself and abide by those, whatever works for you. Okay, also, yeah, so create rules for yourself that work for you. If those don't look like societal rules, whatever, it's not meant for society, it's meant for you. And then work off of that and use that to help you attain your goals. Also, with that being said, learn what self-respect looks like for you. Because I feel like I always hear people say like, oh, she doesn't respect herself, she has no self-respect. But it's like, how can you determine what her self-respect looks like if you're not her? She determines what her self-respect looks like. You determine what your self-respect looks like. And so, yeah, figure out what your standards are. And once you have those standards, set boundaries for yourself, set boundaries for others, because boundaries came out at the end of the reading as well. And don't be prepared to guard those boundaries, because people will try to push them. And if you're not prepared to guard them, if you don't got a sword on deck, if you don't got, the proper dialogue on deck to guard them, know what you're going to say when somebody comes up to your boundary and they're trying to press it. Already have like, your cue cards ready to read them off and be like, nah, I'm not dealing with that right now, or I've established a boundary right there, or when you do this, it makes me feel this way, and I feel like we shouldn't do that anymore because it's crossing a line for me. Have something that you're going to get ready to say so that you don't get caught up in the moment and you can't defend your boundary, or you're so used to, you get trapped into the old cycle that you were in prior to establishing this boundary. Also, this month, you need to be open to your personal power, and specifically your mental power, like the power that your brain, your logic, your mind has. And don't sleep on it. Don't downplay it, because you're not dumb. Like, don't act dumb. And I don't mean in the sense where like, yeah, just don't act dumb. Know what you're worth. Don't settle for anything less than that. And tap in to that power so that you can accomplish and manifest what you desire. Okay, so in the position of what you should be aware of and potential roadblocks, the Ten of Cups came out, which is usually looked at a very positive card because there's a rainbow and there's cups up here and they're like very happy about everything that they have. There's little kids playing around. It's like a blissful card. But in the position that it came out in, it's saying this could be a potential roadblock. So in my eyes, I see that you have a vision of reality that is not what reality is. Like, you think that it's all peaches and cream, but maybe it's really not this. Okay? Maybe you think I feel like this has to do with relationships. What you think your relationship is, not even relationships, but like a love interest. Like, it's mainly with like entanglements. and situationships. I'm not saying it's with like committed relationships necessarily, but a lot of us have this idea that something is what we think it is, and we're using like confirmation bias to support what we want to happen or what we want to manifest. But in reality, that's not what's really happening. So I think it's time for us to take a step back. Take a step back and really assess what's really going on, or maybe even get like a third person or like a second person's point of view and tell them what the situation is. And not saying you should put everybody in your business, like outsiders in your business, your entanglements business, but sometimes you need to have like somebody with a bird's eye view looking at the situation so that they can tell you. That won't do it from a biased standpoint. So that maybe you can get some advice and take their advice with a grain of salt, because sometimes people will give advice and they'll project their own insecurities or their own past situations onto your situation. So take it with a grain of salt, but maybe you should ask for somebody else's point of view so that you can get a clear understanding as to what you're experiencing, because I have a feeling like there's a lot of confirmation bias that's clouding your reality. And that will hold you back in your life. You're thinking that this person is all for you or fully supportive of you or working towards the same common goal that you are, and they're not. So yeah, be mindful of that. Or maybe it's not that, but maybe you need to ask that person and figure out if you guys are on the same page or not to clarify. Because a lot of times with entanglements, we don't ask questions because we don't want to press them due to the fact that, you know, they're not my nigga or they're not my girl. So get clarity on what the end goal is. Even if, and not saying, you know, not everybody hates that question, oh, what are we? But like, what do you want? What do you want right now? Not necessarily for me, but what do you want? And therefore, if I don't want that same thing, do we still desire to keep spending time with one another? Yeah. This month you can practice self-care by the Queen of Cups and the Four of Cups came out for this position. The first card was Queen of Cups, and I think it's saying that you can practice self-care by surrounding yourself with people that support you emotionally, and they affirm your emotional security. If you're with somebody that you're not sure, or like not even romantically, but like your friends or your mother or whoever, if they can't validate, you know, if they can't validate the relationship that you guys have, or if they can't make you feel secure, then that's an issue. Also, it's also at the same time, it's not really their job to constantly affirm, or constantly convince you. Because if you doubt it, it's not their job to like, I mean, words of affirmation is a love language of mine. So like, I do need people to affirm their love for me. I do need people to tell me how they feel and affirm that what I'm feeling is not a delusion. So make sure that the people around you are okay with doing that and are willing to accommodate your love languages, you know? So like, if you're a person who prefers and if they're not willing to accommodate your love language, that does not mean that they're like a bad person. But maybe that's just not the way they give love, and they're not willing to compromise on that. That's fine. If that's a boundary for them, then they can operate from that boundary and still be like a decent person, you know? But yes, just to like close this card out, the Queen of Cups in the self-care position is telling you to be compassionate with yourself and others, and to strengthen your intuition. That can be done in a variety of ways. I suggest you look it up. Yeah, connecting with your ancestors, for self-care. The next card that came out was the Four of Cups. I also use that in the position of self-care. And earlier in the reading, I said that I feel as though this card was saying that there might be people tempting us to act out of character, and we should ignore it. Like, don't even let it bother you. Don't let it allow you to act up. And not saying that if this person that's causing you to act out of character is crossing a boundary for you, you can, if they're like a friend or a family member, cut them off. Tell them that they're crossing a boundary. Cut them off, or, you know, take a break from them, move accordingly. But still keep your peace. The end goal is to keep your peace. Whatever this is that's distracting this man, he's not bothered by it. He's still in his little zone right here. And you want to be able to maintain your own energy field and not allow everything that pops up in your face to get you out of this vibration, get you out of this, out of character. And also practice self-care by meditating in nature specifically. Find you a little tree out at a park, sit by it, meditate, and help you get centered so that your body knows what it feels like to relax. I just watched a video recently about breath work, and the girl said that, I want to say it was like 18 or 19 breaths per minute. Anything above that means you're in fight or flight response. And those numbers might be completely wrong. But the point is that most of us are just sitting down, not doing nothing, but our body is in flight or fight, in its fight or flight response. So taking the time to meditate in your day is teaching your body to relax, and it will cause you to not always be so reactive, which I feel like is a problem that we have a lot. We're so reactive. We don't take the time to sit and think and use our logic to help us not be so reactive. This month we should make time for the Four of Wands, and this is like a celebration card, you know, like the celebrate good times, come on, doom, 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 let's celebrate, boom, celebrate. Anyways, yeah, even the little things that happen, you know, if celebrate waking up in the morning, like little things, gratitude, cultivating a gratitude practice that allows you to find joy in the little things. So I would suggest every morning when you wake up, write down 3 things you're grateful for and express gratitude for them. Like when I just recently got a new car, so expressing gratitude for that, expressing gratitude to my grandma who helped me get it. Well, she gave it to me. I bought it kind of from her. Be expressing gratitude for the people that are willing to help you in your life, expressing your love for them. Celebrate all of that. Celebrate having people in your life to love. Celebrate having people to help you out, because as a people, we are very interdependent with one another. People try to make it feel like I'm independent. I think it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's one of those books, but there's like a diagram and it says like interdependence is greater than independence and independence is greater than dependence. So we don't want to be dependent on people to the point where without them we can't live, or without them we can't grow, or without them we can't succeed. But being independent is not the highest one on the totem pole out of the 3. I feel like a lot of us try to achieve or attain independence, but it's like, you're not supposed to do things on your own. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. As a society, we've evolved into that, especially in like the United States, I would say. But interdependence is greater than that. Learning how to work with people and work, you know, and having people to help you and assist you when you need them, that is greater than being independent by all means, honestly. Yeah, celebrate all of that. Celebrate celebrate the things that you're attempting to manifest in the moment. So like, even if they didn't happen, celebrate it. Celebrate it in advance. You know how they say praise him in advance? Marvin Sapp, my good king. Celebrate in advance, because it's gonna happen. You just have to, and if you celebrate it, the universe will be, it's like when you praise a dog for doing good things. If you celebrate the universe for doing good things, even though it hasn't given it to you yet, God has not given it to you yet, Source has not given it to you yet, it'll make God, Source, more apt to give it to you, because they see your gratitude. They see that you already appreciate it. They see that you're already, expecting it. Prepare your space for it. Prepare your heart for it. Prepare your mind for it, so that once the universe will be quicker to do it, because they already see that there's a spot open for this item, for this person to walk into your life. A key goal for August should be, well, when I asked that question, the Nine of Cups came out, and that is saying that gratitude for how I said we should praise in advance. A key goal for August is for the things that we're praising in advance will come manifest. And you can sit in front of it, and it's in the background, and you're like, see, it happened finally. At the start of this month, I was very grateful for everything that was going to manifest, but at the end of August, you'll be able to sit back and be like, look, I wasn't crazy. Like, I wasn't just praising for no reason. Like, Source proved to me that the hard work and the gratitude wasn't done in vain. Yeah, it's definitely looking like our wishes will be fulfilled by the end of the month. We'll see a lot of progress by the end of the month. We won't be done, but it will be like well on its way. And it's like a 180 will happen from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. If you start out your business with just, ideas, by the end of the month, you'll have something that you can touch, some type of tangible results. And yeah, and just experience joy. Learn to be grateful. Learn to be content with everything, because not with everything, but like with what you have, with your life, because it is what it is. And if you're very like down in the dumps based on what you have, then that's going to lower your vibrational field, especially if you get stuck in that feeling. So try to feel this in the beginning of the month, even though it's not here yet. Just tap into that energy, so that once you get it, it's just multiplied times 10. So actions that you should take this month include, and the 9 of Wands came out, and that's definitely big on establishing boundaries. You might experience some type of, not conflict, but a test to see your resilience and what you can put up with. But it's not going to be like over and over again. It's going to be like one last test to see if you're really about what you say you're about, if you're really, really willing to put in the work, if you're really, because you know how some people, like, they'll hit the lottery and they'll win $5 million and then they blow through it right away. It's because they were not in a vibrational state to maintain that $5,000, or they just, whatever, bad spending habits, whatever. But even a partner, you say you want this great partner, the partner comes in your life and now you can't keep him, or you can't keep her, because you're not in a space to maintain that partnership. This is just a test of your resilience to see if you're willing, or if you're able to maintain the things that you're asking for. And like I said, it's also a card that's talking about boundaries and creating those boundaries, establishing those boundaries for yourself and for others, so that you can, that'll also help you maintain what you're attracting. It's your boundaries. It's like a castle can't be a castle without the gate that's surrounding it, or whatever they have protecting it, the barrier. Because people can't just keep coming all up in y'all space, or, without knocking first, without asking for permission, without setting up an appointment, without whatever those boundaries may look like. So yeah, maybe watch a couple YouTube videos. I'm telling you, I watch YouTube videos on everything. Watch YouTube videos on boundary setting, books on boundary setting, what even is a boundary? Like, some people don't even know what that even means, or like what that would look like. Like, what are my options for boundaries? What would I need a boundary for? But every relationship should have boundaries, with your mother, with your father, with your sister, with your brother, with your cousin, with your uncle, with your partner, whatever. And I feel like a lot of times we like to live for other people. Like, oh, my mom wants me to go to college. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get this degree for my mom. I'm doing this for my daughter. And it's like, okay, but what do you want? This is your life. And that even requires boundaries there, because a lot of times we're living for other people. But this is our life. You only get one life. So you only get one life in this body. So learn to live for yourself and set those boundaries so that you're able to say, no, I actually don't want to do that. I actually don't want to go to school. So I'm not going to do that just for you. And obviously, when you love people, you would ideally, in a perfect world, the decisions that you make will also help them, or will also make them happy. But at the end of the day, you have to prioritize your happiness over theirs, because it's your life. And that's not selfish. Okay, and for the last card was advice and encouragement. It was the Page of Wands. And just try to just find things that make you feel enthusiastic, make you feel happy, inspired, make you want to take action. Take a lot of actions this month. Create a plan and actually act on it. And I feel like we've been planning a lot, so put in the work, put some action behind, put your money where your mouth is, put your money where your mouth is. Put some action behind that yakking, period. Yeah, it's also kind of giving me like full card vibes. So like new beginnings, potential. There's limitless potential here. As long as you act on it, you can manifest it. You'll get the 9 of Cups. As long as you realize the potential. Realize the potential. Be clear as to what you're really asking for. And make sure that you're clear as to what is really happening around you in regards to, like, even when I first mentioned this card, I did it based on relationships. But let's say somebody says that they're willing to help you. Is this person even capable of helping you? How is somebody going to help you if they're lower than you are? You feel me? Make sure there's no delusion in regards to anything that's happening, because I feel like there is the energy of delusion, of clouded reality. And make sure that you're very clear as to what it is that you're asking for, what it is that people are telling you that they have to offer, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think that's it. That's the advice. Just try to tap into the free spirit energy, because I feel like that would take a lot of people far. A lot of people are so worried about how people will perceive them that they won't even take steps forward, because due to fear of judgment. So try to get rid of that fear of judgment, and you'll be great. That's the advice I have for y'all. Hope this reading resonated, and I love you guys, and happy August, and bye.